Thanks so much for chatting with us, Martin, and letting us know about Bike to Work Week that's happening next week. It's nice when you get to know things a little bit ahead of time so that you know what's coming here on the coast. Actually, it reminds me of something that happened last week. Speaking about biking, a lot of people took their bikes out to the first annual Roberts Creek Arts Festival, which was a celebration of art, film, food, and music. We were lucky enough to get a little bit behind the scenes, and we're going to show you what went on in the first annual Roberts Creek Arts Festival. Here, check it out.
Mr. Mountain Bike himself showed up on his e-bike, burning out around the Roberts Creek Arts Festival.
I'll fix that.
He doesn't need to wait for Bike to Work Week to get cycling.
I've come to the conclusion that every time you give money to big oil, they're really the wrong people for us to be giving our money to at this point. So the e-bike, I predict, is going to make big oil suffer.
Well, I mean, with these bikes, you don't have to pedal, so you don't have to go uphill at all. And they're kind of like a motorcycle, but you know, you can be on the road. You don't need a license or anything. It's a bicycle, so you can just go anywhere and whatnot. And yeah, and it's just a bit of a game changer, you know. So it's great. And we're just hitting a few of the other venues and burning out on people's properties, and then we're gonna go back and show his film, do some music. It's gonna be great.
Oh, look at that. What's with the dirt on your face? Turn around. Let's see your.
I got a soggy butt.
Yeah.
The e-bikers brought their art to This Is It on Roberts Creek Road, venue number 1 in the Roberts Creek Arts Festival.
People got so comfortable with this environment that it turned out kids were like swimming in the pond. There was kids climbing the trees. People were hanging out everywhere, just having a really good time. So it was pretty amazing. Couldn't believe that so many people would love to come to Roberts Creek and see the talent that's here.
The Art Barn was also a venue on the festival map, where local artist Marty gave art lovers a sneak peek into her mind's workings by showing her Roberts Creek studio, gallery, and home.
It was awesome. My biggest criticism is I want to go to all the other events. It's not fair. I feel cheated because I'm hearing like, oh my God, this was so amazing and that was amazing. It's so different. Like every venue is completely different, and the Sunshine Coast is a mecca for artists. We have more artists per capita in Canada in this little area than anywhere else. Like it's like the Soho of British Columbia, right? So if we can become known for that, and there's geniuses, like they're all hiding in the woods in little cabins. There's writers, there's musicians, there's dancers, there's photographers, there's filmmakers, there's painters, sculptors, everything, right? And we're here. And I think people are getting brave enough. Artists tend to hide. I think Gold Moss is like kicking our ass. It's like you got to get out there, and it's nice that Canadians are appreciating artists in their own, because normally, for an artist to be appreciated in Canada, historically, you have to go out. You have to go internationally before you're recognized. And I think Canadians are becoming more sophisticated, that they're starting to realize, you know, we've got our own talent, let's celebrate our own talent. And every time you buy a painting, you're allowing that artist to continue their craft. Like that's an investment in culture, right? So when you're buying something, you're investing, or you're giving it to an art collector, you're recommending, or you're sending word of mouth. All of that means a lot to the arts. And it's the most valuable thing in any culture. So that's got to count for something, right? Oh, and this, I'm so excited. These are my books. So I spent many nights binding these books. We were like grinding metal and drilling, and really, really excited because I've got a beautiful book I'm very happy with.
A few kilometers down the highway, another special arts cabin was strutting their stuff. I'm talking about the Super Cabin Sound Gallery that housed music, art, and film.
We had, I don't know, we've probably had well over 300 people come through here in the last 2 days, which has been really cool because you don't know any of them, and then half of them that you do know that you see around the neighborhood. It's like, this is cool, you've come out to see it. So it's been really good. Yeah, and we had 4 acts a day, and it was just non-stop. And people taking in Hanif's artwork, it's fantastic. You have to have a look around there and get some close-ups on that kind of stuff.
We've had a blast. This has been, finding all these little places tucked in the woods. We've been to most of them, not all, but most of them. And
this was such a surprise, walking along the trail and hearing the music, and then walking. Take a look at how you approach this cabin. And there's a piano player that was standing in the corner, and the music is just spilling out into the forest. And it's all about being not in a soft seat theater. I'm at my neighbor's house in Roberts Creek, and I didn't even know these guys played so. I've never heard this before. It's like, right here
I
in
have to also
Roberts
say,
Creek.
I knew the people who lived here. We knew the people who lived here. And I've been in this cabin when it was somebody's house, and she would have loved this. So
And
much.
Don McLeod,
Totally.
this is just exactly
what he would have loved.
What he would
they
have
both
loved.
would
I mean,
have
this
loved it,
is Roberts Creek blossoming.
Over at Gold Moss Gallery, local singer-songwriter Jess Hart kept art collectors blissful as they checked out the unveiling of Gold Moss's newest show, Deism, featuring about a dozen local visual artists and filmmakers, including Diego Samper, Ben Tour, Tyler Gentry, Derek and Mira Hunter, Donna Balma, Lee Roberts, Michael Undum, Ananda Howitt, Bon Roberts, Inez Tancre, and Sean Murphy. Meanwhile, over at Straight Sound, Tannery Rowe brought the blues to Roberts Creek with Tim Hersey on guitar, Gary Como on keys, and Chris Norquist on drums. Here's what some festival goers had to say.
That's part of my weekend. Seeing a whole bunch of lovely people smiling and laughing all weekend long. That was my best part.
From the outside, all these people came around and said, you know what, I hang around with all these, and I just had no idea that in these different places, this kind of stuff was happening. They don't have any, you know, they're going like they're just blown away. So the access to the arts and the music and stuff that's here, because everybody is watching YouTube. They're watching American Idol. They're looking at their computers, and right next door is the shit.
See, they comes out in a lover, and we come out in the try. See, it's long about midnight when I heard that noise.
Personal. Everybody was. I think it was it's like a bunch of friends just hanging out.
When I heard that lonesome cannonball, when I think about my baby, you don't even dare to get a phone. Yep.
The greatest part about it was to see what a success this inaugural sort of Roberts Creek Fest was. Everybody is stating that, hey, it was really successful for how many people came by. Oh, well, the sales went really well, and oh, you know, the support for what was going on. So I think everybody did a really good job of networking. They got a bunch of little business cards, and they did their little thing, or they sold a lot of their product and a lot of their CDs. The concerts were beautiful. So I think, just coming from my point of view, the best part is knowing that it was a success for everybody that was involved in this event, because it was killer. Everything is just top notch that was going on this weekend. So.
I kept always saying the thing about this place is it's alive, spontaneous. I still think this venue will come into its own when people do those first takes out of a situation where people come together, and I watched that happen. The afternoon jam here was magical. And then there was the whole trip with Tim and the band playing. And then today was a whole different thing. So there was 3 distinctly different musical kind of events. And I didn't even get to see any of the other stuff. So I'm looking forward to next year. And they'll have porta potties, and they'll have electrical outlets, and built stages, but it won't be as much fun.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it out to all of the venues at the Roberts Creek Arts Festival. I did miss the Gordon Holleran studio as well as Duna Studios, but I heard that they were both spectacular, just like all the other venues and all the events that took place. So I hope you enjoyed our little look at the first annual Roberts Creek Arts Festival, and if you didn't have a chance to see it in person, hopefully you will next year, and you might even do it by bike. But you won't have to wait long to actually hop onto your bikes, because next week, don't forget, is Bike to Work Week, May 28th until June 3rd. So hop on those bikes, and it's a great way to herald in the summer. I'm your host, Tamar Kozlov, and thanks for watching.